In this episode, let me show you this homemade ballast spreader and this stone wall I made out of tree bark. And then we'll make this retaining wall out of the matches I got out of the ballast spreader box. Welcome to Mike's HO Scale, where modeling gets real. Because I'm on a budget, I like to make things myself if I can. So if you're a beginner or if you've been in it a while, come on along and maybe we can learn some tips and tricks together. I created my own ballast spreader by using a box of matches. I threw or dumped out the matches and used the box for the ballast material. Now, of course, I had to make an insert to go inside the box in order to control the spread of the ballast. So I used the insert itself and traced out a pattern on the box to make the baffle out of, and then just cut it out with scissors. Making this is not that difficult, as you will see, but I really didn't want to spend the money on a plastic spreader that I wasn't sure was going to work, and I'd seen some of them used on YouTube, and I just didn't like the looks of them. They didn't hold a lot, for one thing, and I have a lot of track to do. But here you see me cutting it out. I'm cutting it a little larger than the box. I need to be able to fold those sides so that I have something to put glue on to make it stay inside the box. And you'll see that in just a minute. Getting the width of the baffle wasn't too difficult either. I really took a guess at it, thinking about how much I wanted to dump out at a time, and you'll see that in a minute too. So now I'm just inserting it, trying to adjust it where I think I want it to go, how much I want to spill out at a time. I had to give this a little bit of thought, and exploring the ones that are on the internet, what those looked like, how much I thought should dump out at a time. So you can see me cutting the angle there so that I can bring the baffle almost all the way down to the track. And I needed to be at an angle so that it would match the track as I tip the baffle in. You can see how it's tipped in there. I want to be able to fill up as much as I can to keep as much ballast in there as I can. And so now I'm going to glue it on and insert it and try to get it to stay in one place, the place that I want. And it might take some adjustment there, but you'll see that also. Now, this is not going to hold a great deal of ballast, but it will give me more control over spreading it around rather than using a spoon or just dumping it out of the jar. So I set that aside and let it dry. After a while, I was able to move it around, making sure it's secure. I'll put it on the track here and actually line up the rails with the front of the box. And I've got a couple of grooves in it to set it down further onto the ties. I want this edge of the box to sweep the ties on the bottom so it doesn't build up a lot of ballast. I want to be able to remove it easily. So I just cut those out and it fit down on there very nicely. So now let's fill it up and give it a trial run here. I was very impressed with the way it worked. It left some behind there. I think I cut those grooves a little deeper after a while, but I'm going to clean those up a little bit as we go on. But when I cut those grooves deeper, it actually swept the ties a little better, kind of like that right there. I still went ahead with the brush and moved the ballast around. It's something that I had to try to get over. You don't have to remove every rock from every tie. It doesn't look like that in rail tracks. Tapping it like this was almost all I had to do once I fine-tuned this spreader. And it just knocked them off the ties pretty much. There was still a few on there, but it worked out really well. Now I spray it down with alcohol, of course, to break the surface tension of the material so that when I glue it down, the glue actually soaks in. Now this glue is just diluted Elmer's glue, so it runs really well. It'll run right all over the place and soak into the material and spread itself out. And then I won't have to do anything more to it. I'll let that dry and you won't even see it on the ties themselves. Once it's dry, I just rub it down with some very fine sandpaper on the tops and on the insides so that the wheels make a good connection to it. And it also knocks off any extra ballast that I don't want sticking around. So I think it looks pretty good, and I'll continue to use this on the rest of my layout. So I created this rock wall using bark from a tree and cutting it in half, and it looked pretty realistic after painting it. I got this idea from another YouTuber who did an awesome job with the rock wall. I wish I could remember his name, but the video was really good. But my problem now is transferring this from rock to a grassy knoll that's just going to be continued here. So I'm going to be stacking some of these in a way that will make it blend in. Not sure how yet. Cut some of this plaster away to do that, and then I'll have the dirt kind of flow over the top of this like this part of the rock hasn't been exposed yet. We'll see how that goes. So I'm going to try to blend this stone wall into this hillside with putting some more stone in here and then covering this over with dirt, kind of blending the hillside in here and a little down here and then with shrubbery. We'll see how it comes out. But I've said before, I've used these pieces of bark from a tree that works really well for this after it's painted. And I got this idea from another YouTuber, and it just turned out really good. So I'm gonna try some more of that with some hot glue here. See if I can make it stay where I want it. Stuff gets stringy. We'll see how that sits. Let it dry and paint it. See what it looks like first. Now I'm just filling over the top of some of these rocks with some spackle compound. Trying to make it look like some dirt kind of falling over the top of these rocks a little bit here. I already did this area here. Not coming out too bad. So it came out pretty well. The rest of it is just gluing down ground cover, putting in trees and blending it in. Didn't come out too bad. For this next piece, let's use matches to create this tie log wall. And then I just colored it in. So let's see how I did that. Wooden matches should be just right for the tie logs for my wall. Some of them are rejects, of course. I want to start building this wall now. So I've cut up those matchsticks and I'm going to put some Mod Podge down and see what I can do. Since that is the base of this, I want that to dry before I go any further. So I'm going to let that dry out first. Now that I got the first layer down, let's see if we can build some more on that. Trying to find a better angle to shoot this from without my hands being in the way, but it's kind of hard to do. Well, it took a while, but it came out pretty good. That's as high as I'm going to go. I'll round it over with vegetation here and on the sides. I'll try to color that up now. See if this this color will do what I want it to do. All right, that should do that. I've got to figure out how to do weathering on logs like this. I haven't seen a good video on it, so I could use any suggestions that you might have. I'll let that dry and see what happens. Well, it came out pretty well. I'm okay with the color. It's a little shiny. I'm going to try and dull it up a little bit. A little black wash, some black paint and a lot of water. Just wash it down and see what happens here. All right, I'm going to let that dry. If I still don't like it, I'll add a little more paint to this and do it again. All right, I black washed this tie wall and it came out a little better. It looks better to me. And now I'm going to ground cover this area. I want to cover my track with tape before I do that again, or at least the ballast. I don't want to get any of that ground cover on my ballast. Just miserable to try to get off. If I can get this tape to stick down and stay put on a curve, will work better. First attempt didn't work so well, but this one isn't too bad if I do it in pieces. Yeah, that's not too bad. All right, we'll go ahead and glue this up with this Mod Podge. I'm really liking this stuff. I know the first time I said that this was a waste, but I like the way the contour comes out, so I don't mind doing it like this, spending a little extra money for it. Now this is going to be a little more heavier wooded area, and since I don't have enough of the coarse, I'm going to blend it in with a little bit of this fine here and see how that works out as I go in some of these harder places. So this came out pretty well. I'm happy with it, and I need to clean this up a little bit after everything thoroughly dries. But I'm going to do my path here now with some coffee grounds, just to give it a little color for what I'm looking for later. Little dirt path. Still make it look washed a little bit. Well, we'll see if that does what we're hoping it's going to do. All right, it's pretty dry now. I'm going to clean up this retaining wall a little bit, get rid of the tape, and see what she looks like. It's not looking too bad through here. I want to start to finish off with some trees and shrubbery now, but I'm not going to go too far with it. I do want a cabin up here and a cabin on this hill over here. Shack maybe, something like that. I haven't even got started on buildings yet, so I want to put a few shrubs around here, a few trees, just to dress it up a little. All right, I think that's as far as I want to go with that for now, until I get a good feel for what I want to do back there. And I'm going to look for your comments on any suggestions. But for now, that'll be it. I'll see you next time. If you like this video, please smack that like button and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Thanks.